Alright, today we're back at Duelist Den, and today I'm going to be shooting a gun that I first shot on video about 8 years ago. And I spent a lot of time talking about the history of this gun and not a whole lot of shooting time back in those early videos. So this time we're going to reverse the process. I'm shooting the same model. I'm going to be shooting a Schofield, Smith & Wesson Schofield replica. This is made by Uberti in Italy, and it's imported by Uberti USA in Accokeek, Maryland. It's chambered in .45 Colt. The originals were chambered in .45 Schofield, a little bit shorter round, and I'll show you the difference, but this will shoot both of them. Now, the original Schofield that I did the video on was a blued model. This one is nickeled and pearled. I saw it at the SHOT Show, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years ago, and decided that I just had to have it. So it came home with me, and it's really just a great 6 gun. So let's show you the ammo, and then let's go do a little bit of shooting. This is the latest edition up here at the Den. We don't take a knee over here at Duelist Den. I'm finishing up a pretty ugly property dispute that I had here at the Den running for the last couple of years. We finally got it resolved, and I feel like I can breathe a little bit here and maybe do a few more things. So I'd love to tell you about this, but I don't really want to get into it on the internet. But suffice it to say, it's all settled, and we should be able to keep making videos here for as long as I want. Well, like I mentioned before, I've got another video that goes through a lot of the history and technical specifications of this gun, but I don't think I can get away without giving you a little bit, just so you know what we're looking at. Major George Schofield was a cavalry officer. He liked the Smith & Wesson American, and that was in the .44 American caliber, which is really a heel-based .45, and he thought that would make a superior cavalry weapon with a few changes to the Colt single-action Army. So he modified one, and the major change is to the latch here. I'm going to show you a picture of a typical Smith & Wesson latch. So this is the typical Smith & Wesson top break revolver latch. And as you can see, you open the gun by pulling up on the latch. And then you can see the Schofield latch, which is quite different because it mounts on the frame instead of on the top strap. And it allows a cavalry officer to actually empty and load the gun with one hand if he needed to. So that is the major difference with the Schofield. There are some grip modifications and whatnot. Now, the original Smith & Wessons were in .44 American and then .44 Russian, which was a true .44 caliber. But the Army, of course, wanted a .45 Colt. And this gun that the Italians made, this replica, can handle the .45 Colt, but the original Smith & Wesson could not, because Smith & Wesson was unwilling to lengthen the frame and cylinder to take on the longer round. So they developed a shorter round, which was called the .45 Schofield. And where the .45 Colt used a 255 grain internal bullet powered by 40 grains of black powder, it was truly the most powerful cartridge of its age for handguns. The Schofield was shorter. It used a 230 grain bullet and closer to 30 grains of powder. So it was more controllable for troops that weren't used to shooting handguns. And it was a little bit smaller. Of course, it posed logistical problems because the Army wanted to use these. Schofields couldn't take those. The Army ended up settling on a modified Schofield round that they used for everything. And of course the 45 Colt single action Army could fire this just as easily as it fired this. So ultimately the ammunition issue kind of doomed the Schofield. And Smith & Wesson didn't really push them in the civilian market, even though guys like Jesse James loved them. Mainly because they had to pay a royalty to Major Schofield for every gun that they produced. And they would rather produce their Russian model, and then eventually the new model number 3, for no royalty. But people who use this gun really liked it, and I like it too, so let's go shoot this thing. Well, Evil Roy's been up to his evil ways again. So let's take Major Schofield's invention and see if we can teach him a lesson. Get him! Here we are with our newest target installation at Duelist Den. This is the German Desperado, Hans Up. So let's see if we can have a little bit of fun with Hans now. As you can see, Hans is armed and dangerous. Well, Hans Up is out shooting up the town. So let's see if the Schofield can put an end to it. Okay, well, as you can probably see, I'm hitting about 6 inches high and a little to the right with this. I had to kind of find my distance. So we'll try Hans again. Alright, Hans got the best of me last time. I think I know what to do this time. So I've got to aim about 6 inches low and a little to the left. And we'll see if I can make Hans pay for beating me last time. Well, I put a hurt on Hans, but I didn't clean his clock. Okay, you guys know I hate to end on a miss. So, Hans is still waiting for me. I got one more clay bird to break. I hope I can get him. Well, I'm going to count that as a win. Alright, let's show you the loading sequence. Put it on half cock, thumb back the catch, open up the action. We're going to load it with 5 rounds of 45 Colt, because this gun will take it. I could load 6, but there's no hammer block safety on these guns. So consequently, if you load 6, you've got the hammer right on a primer, and if you were to drop the gun and it landed on the hammer, it's definitely going to go off, and we don't want that. So we just close it. Okay, so now we're going to put it down between rounds on an empty chamber, and we're good to go. And yes, if you needed to use it immediately, you could certainly load 6 and take your chances. Okay, so one of the strengths of this gun is ejecting. Put it on half cock, thumb back the latch, and bang, out they go. It works a lot better with Schofield cartridges than it does with Colt cartridges, but yeah, open it fast enough, they'll all go. Well, Hans worked me pretty hard. I'm gonna have to see if I have better luck on these 2-liter bottles. I haven't shot this gun for years. And I remember I was shooting high last time. So maybe it's time to do a little range work with it and get it dialed in, because it's too pretty to just sit in the safe. He's bleeding. All right, that was altogether more satisfying. Okay, we got swinging Sam and the Circle Gang, and I think it's time to clean up that town. Well, it's mostly clean. We'll finish up with the bad guy's view. And it looks like Duelist Den has lost another cameraman.